What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Monday, April 28th. Now, in today's video, I have to talk about what's happened over the weekend for DOGE Bitcoin. Because right now, it's hovering around a 260 million market cap, went as low as roughly around 230 million market cap over the weekend. But what's really interesting is that right now I'm seeing a ton of on-chain data that is sharing with me that whales are accumulating as much as possible. Then at the very end of the video, I got to share with you charting and analysis because it's really important to understand the MACD and also the 20-day to 50-day moving average and the 50-day to 200-day moving average, and why this is setting us up for the third parabola event that we've had for DOGE Bitcoin. Now let's cover it in this video. Let's not waste any time. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X, and please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I will never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. So guys and girls, let's get right into it. So as you can see, DOGE Bitcoin right now is at a 267 million market cap. Now, Bitcoin right now is still hovering around a $93,000 price point. It hasn't really changed over the past 7 days. Now, let's compare DOGE Bitcoin to Bitcoin in the past 24 hours. Right now, it's definitely outperforming Bitcoin. Over the past 7 days, it's up 78%. Now, over the past month, we're up nearly 65%. From our all-time low, which we were down close to around 40%, and now we're above 65% of Bitcoin's price. That's pretty extraordinary. Over the past year, now look at DOGE Bitcoin. This is really important for you guys and girls to understand. DOGE was beneath Bitcoin's price, roughly around 60 to even 70% down to the downside. Now we've reduced it significantly over the past month, and now we're only down negative 35%. So if you were buying these dips in dollar cost averaging, you right now put your sats or your satoshis from your Bitcoin to work, and it's actually growing in value because you've allocated your Bitcoin into DOGE Bitcoin. And I do believe we're gonna again experience another crossing of DOGE into Bitcoin like we saw back over here and back over here. Now, how well has DOGE Bitcoin in terms of ranking scaled on CoinMarketCap? Right now, it's increased to around 162. Now, what's really important about this, other than its greenest percentage over the past 7 days, 24 hours, and over the past hour, is this. Now, look at CoinMarketCap's weekly top gainers. Ranked at number 8 is DOGE Bitcoin. Now, the reason that's important is because if you notice any of these other coins right here, a lot of these different coins either have team members or Tier 1 centralized exchange listings to support their token and their market cap. Guess what? DOGE Bitcoin has neither of those. That's the crazy thing. This is completely grassroots community that has no team members near Tier 1 centralized exchange listings. And that just goes to show me the fact that it's in number 8 is pretty extraordinary. Do not fade the free and fair movement, and also the number 1 meme coin on Bitcoin. Now, in other news, there's this app that we've talked about. It's like a tier 2, tier 3 app. Not a lot of people use it, but regardless, it's an app that listed DOGE Bitcoin, which is a wrap version on Solana. It's called Bags, and it was the number 1 trending token on its specific app. And also, CryptoSlate. Notice that DOGE Bitcoin was a biggest gainer in their category. It was actually the 4th largest gainer within all of different cryptocurrencies across different blockchains. And also we found out that OpenC on their new beta marketplace has listed DOGE, the Solana wrap version, available to trade. Now, if you don't know, OpenC is trying to have their exploration into the token swap market share. So this isn't live on their main website. You have to go to their beta version. But again, I think that Magic Eden is going to eat away that market share just because they really capitalize on cross-chain NFTs, Ordinals, and now tokens such as runes. Now, Dan from Crypto Capital Ventures shared on his new platform, which you should definitely check out. It's a CCV intelligence system. Basically, it allows you to understand how different cryptocurrencies, different assets within crypto are performing. And in his recent video, it shared that the bulls right now are dominating within DOGE. They haven't really taken over in terms of like bulls have taken the big gains, but his metric data on his system says that bulls are now in control. But what he also mentioned in one of his videos is that right now we could expect a little pullback with DOGE because we experienced such a massive pump with DOGE just within the past past 7 days. So if you see a slight retracement, that's a great time to dollar cost average because every major pump experiences a minor pullback. Now, what's crazy is that regardless of all this positive news, OG General, who is a dog holder and a dog whale, has now made an offer of $8.5 million in USDT Tether to trade on the first Tier 1 centralized exchange listing to list dog for spot trading. Now, will it be Kraken? Will it be OKX? Bybit, Coinbase, Binance, we don't exactly know. But what's really great is that we have people like this, advocates who are willing to put in a lot of cheddar for the first spot listing for dog. So I don't know who's waiting to list dog. I don't know what's taking so long for these centralized exchange listings to list dog, but $8.5 million is a lot of money in USDT Tether just on day one. So I expect that sooner or later, one of these exchanges is going to list it. And the reason OG General says he wants to list it is because, quote unquote, he said, when you hold a conviction that contributes to a greater cause, which is the free and fair movement, it becomes clear that monetary concerns are insignificant in relation to the overall mission. DOG embodies this principle and is poised to disrupt the entrenched cycle of oppression and insider trading associated with compromised centralized exchanges, aka sexes, and whales. So basically, he's saying he'd rather support a free and fair movement, a free and fair distributed token such as DOG, compared to insider traded tokens that really, they don't have a long life cycle, that end up dying within not just one day, but maybe even a month at least. So this is why he's supporting DOG and wanting to put up that $8.5 million in USDT Tether to the first Tier 1. Now here's the whale movement that we've been seeing with DOG Bitcoin over the past weekend. So just yesterday, what I'd like to thank John Rick for pointing out, he noticed that people are buying a ton of DOG. Here's one for 11,000. Here's one for 14,000. It doesn't just stop there. So I've been whale tracking these wallets for quite some time now over the past 7 days. Now there's this one wallet that recently accumulated roughly around $17,000 worth of DOG token, which was roughly around 6.4 million DOG on their primary wallet. And then they transferred some of their DOG tokens to the secondary wallet, which has, by the way, $142,000 worth of DOG. Now that is a lot of whale activity, and it doesn't just stop there. Check out this wallet. Now this wallet was 78 days old, and it was a dormant wallet, meaning there was no activity, there was no movement. Then all of a sudden yesterday, it accumulated 16 million DOG tokens out of nowhere, now stacking roughly around 95 million DOG tokens in total. That's 193,000 US dollars. So out of nowhere, this wallet comes out of the woodworks and just says, you know what, I'm gonna come back and buy some more DOG. So they actually bought the dip, and it doesn't just stop there. Another wallet, so this wallet in particular has been stacking a lot. So they bought yesterday 6.1 million tokens of DOG, but now have a total of 192 million DOG tokens. Now what's really crazy is that this wallet, which is 144 days old, has not sold a single DOG token since then. That's crazy. They know that even though DOG has hit 950, 970, 999 million market cap in its previous bull runs, has not sold anything. That means that they know that DOG is going to surpass 1 billion, 2 billion. They're wanting to cash out at the multi-billions of dollars because they know that Bitcoin DeFi is a narrative of this cycle. That means the number one meme coin on Bitcoin is going to probably do very well. And I just want to share with you how big DOG can scale. So obviously right now, the number one meme coin on Solana is the Trump token. That's roughly $3.1 billion at the time of this recording in terms of market cap, compared to Solana's small market cap of $77 billion. The reason we compare the blockchain market cap compared to the meme coin is because if you're trying to capture market share from the native chain, you can only capture so much. Now look at Shiba Inu, 8.3 billion compared to Ethereum's 219 billion market cap. It's pretty much captured a good majority of the market cap share of Ethereum. Now look at DOG Bitcoin, the number one meme coin, the number one fungible token on Bitcoin. It's only 270 million compared to Bitcoin's current market cap, 1.9 trillion, and it can go much higher. Bitcoin has gone above 2 trillion. Now this is very tiny. There is so much upside for DOG to scale, so much upside for DOG to capture market share, that if you just imagine 1% of DOG capturing Bitcoin's market share, it's in the multi-billions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen. Shiba Inu is around 3% of Ethereum's market cap. Trump token is roughly 1 to 2% of Solana's market share. Just think about that. And a lot of different rune catalysts could happen for DOG Bitcoin. One of those things is Slingshot. So Slingshot, recently acquired by Magic Eden, has hinted and shared a screenshot as of yesterday how the Bitcoin runes tab is going to look on the app. And why is this really important? Well, Elizabeth, who is the head of marketing over at Magic Eden, says it's going to be really easy to buy Bitcoin runes by using fiat currency, Apple Pay, PayPal, even your credit card. And you can buy these runes using USDC. That's the most amazing thing, is that right now you can spend more than just your Bitcoin, but actually US dollars. Now you need to know something about Magic Eden. So Magic Eden throws the biggest events that I've seen in crypto events and NFT events. They throw really big events. This is what's made Magic Eden one of the top contenders of any decentralized marketplace. Now they have an event happening tomorrow at Token 2049. This is called the Magic Eden / Slingshot event. So this is a launch event due to the partnership announcement that Magic Eden had acquired of Slingshot. And what happens when they throw these events? It builds a lot of awareness, because inside, not only are they having a good time and a great party at one of the largest, most innovative cities in the world, but this is one of the greatest events ever. Meaning, like, this venue is going to be one of the things that people go to. You're going to see your favorite crypto influencers going there. And they're going to pitch a lot of Bitcoin runes as one of the major news events of this actual event. So this is why I'm saying right now, you need to sign up for Slingshot to buy your first Bitcoin runes, especially DOG. So right now I provided you a little barcode, scan it with your phone and download your first Slingshot app to buy DOG Bitcoin. This is going to be very huge for anybody that's holding DOG Bitcoin before this even launches. So I want to get into the most exciting part, which is the charting and analysis. Now let's focus on the moving averages. This is the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. So the 50-day is the orange line. The 200-day is the green line. This is very important. Why am I pointing that out? Look at this curvature of this 50-day moving average orange line. It's really curved, meaning because of these sharp green candlesticks, you're seeing this curvature of the orange line, and it's now going to start veering towards this green line of the 200-day moving average. Once these cross, that is considered an official golden cross. And that to me is going to do exactly what we saw back over here. Okay, so you're going to see a big pump within DOG Bitcoin. Now let's change this 50-day and 200-day moving average into a 20 to 50-day moving average. Okay, so now I've changed it to a 20 to 50-day moving average. Now, what have you noticed right here? Yes, you are actually seeing and witnessing the 20-day moving average, which is the orange line now, and the 50-day moving average, which is the green line. They are about to cross. Now, a golden cross is usually a term that you would use for a 50-day, 200-day moving average, but I'm just going to use it as the example in the 20 to 50-day moving average. So once the golden cross does happen, which is when these lines cross together, you're going to start to see what we saw back over here. This was a golden cross that sent us back into the upside, which you saw this massive pump, and then you saw another golden cross right over here, followed by another pump to the upside, bringing us to 999 million. You would have seen it back over here, but the thing is, the 20-day and 50-day moving average, or at least the 50-day, didn't occur at this specific time. But what we always notice at every single movement of the 20-day moving average, which is this orange line, is that, like I mentioned before, whenever we see the DOG Bitcoin price, which is the green candles, above the 20-day moving average, which is this orange line, you start to see a big pump to the upside. So you saw it over here, you saw it over here, and then you saw it over here. And guess what? You're going to see it over here again as well. Now, another thing I want to point out is this, the MACD. We have officially crossed over the resistance purple line area, which I've talked about many times over and over. Now, what's really important is that we need to understand two different scenarios. Now, number one is the bullish scenario. The bullish scenario is that since we've crossed this purple resistance line, that now we're going to step into the buyer's market, and you'll see something very similar to over here where we crossed it and then we went to the upside, we went back down, and then we went back to the upside. Every single time that we cross the purple resistance line, we step into a buyer's market, and we even saw it back over here. So we could see the next pump, right? The next pump would send us above 300 million market cap. But again, we could see a retracement, which we saw back here, but it was a slight downside. And then we saw that massive pump again, which brought us way higher. So we could see just one big pump. But there's also the bearish sentiment, right? Which is basically, if Bitcoin has a black swan event, we could see this pull back down and start back all over again, which is completely fine. If we start back all over again, we're just going to retrace, pull back, and then experience the next pump again. But that's two different scenarios, but this is very bullish. But now let's look at the weekly time frame. Now check out this weekly time frame. Now you're seeing two green candlesticks. This is very important to understand. Why is it very important to see two different green candlesticks? Well, these are weekly charts. So if you're seeing two green candlesticks, that means you're seeing renewed interest in DOG Bitcoin. Now, every time we see this amount of consolidation, meaning we traded sideways for quite some time, and then we waited for these green candlesticks to appear. Well, guess what? This is actually very bullish. And look at the amount of weakening sell pressure. So this actually on the MACD, the selling pressure actually got weaker much faster. So this is actually kind of crazy because we're actually seeing for the first time green candlesticks over the past 18 weeks that we have experienced such a downtrend. Now we're seeing buying pressure back to the buyer's market. So right now, once you start to see green candlesticks, which is good that we're not seeing it now, because the fact that we're seeing green candlesticks now, we're not seeing like green or blue histogram bars, is showing us that we actually haven't seen the very end of the DOG bull market just yet. We're actually very much in the early stages of the DOG Bitcoin bull run. So you've seen right now how very bullish this is on the charting and analysis, both the weekly and the daily. So everything in a nutshell, you understand, we should have experienced that pullback with DOG Bitcoin. That's completely normal. The fact that we retraced back to around 240 million, 230 million is completely normal. That pullback was necessary for us to have another pump. But I just shared with you why everybody is bullish around Bitcoin runes, why it's going to be integrated on Slingshot, while other platforms such as CryptoSlave, Bags, and also CoinMarketCap are seeing DOG's performance doing really well. Now, Bitcoin is consolidating at 93,000. DOG Bitcoin is doing what it needs to do. It's going to eventually flip Bitcoin's price in terms of gains. This is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, and I really want you to pay attention on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you want to stay up to date, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and trades regarding DOG Go to the Moon. Until then, see you guys girls next time.